Your life is full of things that simply don't serve you. Some drain your energy, others hold you back, and some have been with you for so long that you don't even notice the weight you're carrying. But why do you keep holding on to what only slows you down? Take a moment to reflect on this. When was the last time you consciously let go of something that was no longer serving you? A habit, a toxic relationship, a limiting belief? Have you ever stopped to question how much of your daily stress comes from things you no longer need? The truth is, we often hold on to things because they feel familiar. Even when they hurt us, they provide a strange kind of comfort. Letting go means stepping into the unknown, and that can be scary. But what if I told you that your greatest freedom lies in learning to detach? The Stoics believed that real power comes from controlling what is within our reach and releasing what is not. They understood that unnecessary attachments bring suffering. And today, I want to share with you how to silently eliminate 10 things that may be holding you back from the peace and clarity you deserve. Because, my friend, life is too short to be weighed down by things that no longer serve you. Many people believe that change comes from adding more to their lives, more achievements, more possessions, more status. But the real secret to growth is subtraction. What if, instead of seeking more, you started removing what no longer fits? Let's go on a journey today. A journey of letting go, of freeing yourself. And to illustrate this, let me tell you a story. The story of Helena. In a small fishing village, by the edge of a vast ocean, lived Helena. The village was simple, with small houses made of stone and wood, fishing boats lined along the shore, and the salty breeze that carried the sound of waves crashing against the cliffs. Every morning, the fishermen would gather at the docks, preparing for another day at sea. Helena was known for her skill at sea, reading the currents, understanding the winds, and predicting the mood of the waters. She had learned from her father, a fisherman who had spent decades mastering the ocean. He used to say, "The sea rewards those who respect its ways and punishes those who refuse to adapt." But despite her expertise, Helena carried an invisible burden, a boat overloaded with old fishing nets, tangled ropes, and broken equipment she refused to throw away. Every time she set out to sea, she took all of this with her, not because she needed it, but because she had always done so. One day, an old fisherman watched her struggle to navigate and said, "Helena, your boat is too full. The more you carry, the less room you have for what truly matters." She smiled politely and dismissed his words. After all, those nets had served her well in the past. "These nets have caught many fish before," she replied. "They are part of my work, part of my history." But as time went on, the weight became harder to ignore. How many times do we do the same? We hold on to things, people, and habits that no longer serve us simply because they feel familiar. Helena's fishing trips became more and more difficult. Her boat felt heavy, sluggish, hard to maneuver. Every storm was an exhausting battle. Every trip out to sea required more effort than the one before. But still, she couldn't bring herself to let go. Here's a hard truth: not everything that once served you has a place in your present life. Think about that for a moment. How many things do you still carry just because you're afraid to let them go? Could be a job that drains you, but you stay because it feels safe. A toxic friendship that no longer brings joy, but you hold on out of habit. A belief about yourself that limits your potential, but you never challenge it. What would happen if you let go? One morning, as Helena prepared to set sail, the sky darkened unexpectedly. A storm was forming on the horizon. The wind picked up, the waves grew, and for the first time, she truly felt the burden of everything she was carrying. She realized something: if she didn't let go of the unnecessary weight, she wouldn't make it through the storm. How often do we wait until the storm forces us to change? Until a crisis shakes us and makes us realize we can't keep living the same way? Helena had a choice: hold on and risk sinking, or release and survive. And so, with the storm raging around her, she did what once seemed impossible. She started throwing the old nets into the sea. Each piece she released made her boat lighter, easier to control. She realized that many of these nets had been patched so many times that they were no longer useful. And yet, she had held onto them out of fear that one day she might need them again. How often do we let fear of the future make us hold onto things that no longer serve us? It's the fear of change that keeps you in a job that makes you miserable, the fear of loneliness that keeps you in relationships that drain you, the fear of failure that stops you from pursuing your true passion. But what if, like Helena, you chose to let go? The storm intensified, the waves grew taller, and she knew she had to make a bold decision. She threw out the worn-out ropes, the old fishing gear, the things she once thought she couldn't live without. And suddenly, her boat became lighter, easier to steer. And you? What are you still holding on to that's keeping you stuck? Because it's not the weight itself that destroys you, it's your attachment to it. With each thing Helena let go of, she felt stronger, not weaker. She no longer struggled against the sea. She moved with it. Maybe that's what you need in your life. Not to control everything, but to stop resisting what is already changing. To trust that you don't need to carry everything to be okay. That releasing is not loss, but freedom. When the storm passed, Helena returned to the village exhausted, but transformed. The other fishermen who had watched her leave never expected her to return. But there she was. Not just alive, but stronger than ever. She looked back at the sea, at everything she had let go of, and realized something powerful. She didn't miss any of it. Because what truly matters, what strengthens you, will never be a burden. Now, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what are you ready to let go of? Just let go. Silently. And watch how your life changes.